Greetings, and welcome to A Year of Movies, a Planet Geek production. For this project, we are using the Ivan Walters reference book of 365 films to watch on the day they happened. Each day, we watch a movie associated with the date we are watching it on.
And as it is the 8th of August, we are going to be watching Buster from 1988, directed by David Green and starring Phil Collins. So until I actually saw this movie on this list, I had always thought that this was some sort of like romantic comedy, period piece, maybe sort of thing, that like a small time crook sort of storyline trying to like turn his life around sort of situation with Phil Collins as the lead. It wasn't until I started watching the actual movie to realize, oh, this is a much bigger story than what I had thought it already was. So that being said, this would be a first-time watch for me. And like I had already mentioned, not only does this movie star Phil Collins, but it also stars Julie Walters, Larry Lamb, Stephanie Lawrence, Ellie Beavan, Ralph Brown, and Martin Jarvis. The story of great train robber Buster Edwards, played by Phil Collins, a small-timer who fell in with a more ambitious thieves. After the gang robs a London to Glasgow Royal Mail train in 1963, he takes his family, including his wife, played by Julie Walters, into hiding in Mexico, but finds that the money is no substitute for life back home. So it's one of those, small-time thief turns into big-time bank robber type movies that you see all the time. This, again, based on true facts that I didn't realize that was the actual real-life event until I started watching the movie. It turned out to be quite more entertaining than I actually had thought. I got caught up early in the movie when there was a fantastically shot scene that with one camera in several different takes with the camera in different angles and all that sort of thing. It's a wonderful little experiment to break down and watch the scene. I actually did literally stop the movie and rewind the scene like 3 times to see, okay, the camera is like handheld at this point. Oh, here it is locked onto the rotating merry-go-round that these guys are sitting on, like one of those little park merry-go-rounds the kids like hold onto the side and run around and spin it, not an actual one where you're riding horses and all that. And they're having this conversation between 3 people, and there's a camera like shooting them from different angles and different shots, and it's just fascinating how just something that simple caught my eye. But the heist itself is really cool. But it's the main part of the story is the group of men who commit the crime trying to keep ahead of the law. And pretty much everyone but Buster ends up getting caught. He takes his family, goes on a long-distance trip to Mexico. The wife eventually gets tired of the situation and then moves back home, and then he realizes that he misses her and then decides to go back home with her. Now, while there isn't much more to that, it is a very interesting movie to watch because, first of all, Phil Collins does a fantastic job in this role, especially being a lead. Other than a guest starring role on a Miami Vice episode, this would be not only his first theatrically released movie where he is like, Phil Collins, but to be the lead as well is quite an impressive output of acting skills. And it helps to ground his character when he's teamed up with Julie Walters, who in herself is a wonderful woman and does a fantastic job as this doubting wife and mother, just trying to strive to hopefully keep what's good for her family as present as possible. And I would be remiss if I weren't to mention that while the movie is set in the 60s and has a soundtrack that has a dozen 60s songs, the songs Two Hearts and Groovy Kind of Love by Phil Collins basically end this film. The movie ends on Two Hearts while it's playing out, and then the closing credits we get Groovy Kind of Love. Or is it the other way around? Either way, we still get a Phil Collins song in this movie as well. And speaking of song, for that season's Academy Awards, it actually got nominated for Best Original Song. So the big event at the very beginning of the movie practically is the actual Great Train Robbery, which happens on August 8th, 1963, which is about 17 minutes into this 1 hour and 42-minute movie. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this particular episode and look off into the future to see what we're going to be watching for tomorrow, which is the 9th of August, and that is going to be Empire of the Sun from 1987. So until next time, go see a movie.